Honourable fourth member of Port Louis North and Mortagne Long, Mr. Duval.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1B1.
Madam Speaker, even before the electoral campaign and during the campaign, we were warning the nation that the macroeconomic figures were being manipulated by the MSM government and its allies. The implementation of the 14th month bonus will have deep impact on the economy and on public finances because of the disastrous situation we have inherited from the previous government. But never, in our wildest nightmare, did we know the extent that the figures would be falsified. In fact, Madam Speaker, the economic boom that the previous government boasted has been nothing but an electoral gimmick, very, very far from the harsh reality that we have discovered after assuming office. We will therefore have to be extremely prudent to minimize the adverse impact of the 14-month on the economy. As regards the implementation of the 14-month bonus, I will make an announcement once a policy decision is taken by Cabinet on Friday. I will elaborate more on these issues in a statement to the House on the state of the economy this afternoon, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes,
Next
thank
question.
you, Madam Speaker. Well, does the Honourable Prime Minister know that the Minister of Labour has given recently in an interview stated that consultations had begun and that he was working closely with the Office of the Attorney General for the preparation of the bill. Will he confirm whether this is in fact the case?
I can confirm that, in fact, he has been working with the Attorney General, and we will have to come with a bill. Not as it was previously announced, it will have to be through a bill.
Yes.
Yes. May we know if the consultations and the preparations that are being made with the Office of the Attorney General, whether it is being envisaged for the payment of the 14th month bonus, whether it's been envisaged to cap the payment to a certain income level, or whether it will be for all employees.
In fact, Madam Speaker, I will make a statement later on the state of the economy, and I'm sure Honourable Member will have a good look at it. This is why I said we'll have to be extremely prudent to minimize the adverse effect of the 14-month on the economy. But after the statement on the economy, I'm sure you will come up with new questions.
Okay. There are some questions that have been, we've been advised that they will be replied by other honourable ministers. Question PQ1B2 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Commerce and Consumer Protection. PQ1B4 will be replied by Dr. the Honourable Minister of Agro-Industry, Food Security and Blue Economy and Fisheries. Okay. Yes. Honourable fourth member of Port Louis North and Mortagne, Mr. Duval.
Yes.
Your next question.
B3.
Madam Speaker, after 56 years of independence, it is opportune to consider constitutional and electoral reforms to further consolidate our democratic institutions, especially after how the previous regime has undermined all our institutions. It is precisely to consolidate our democracy that the proposal for the setting up of an electoral college for the election of the President of the Republic has been included in the electoral manifesto of the government. Madam Speaker, electoral college is a process whereby a group of electors is formed to elect a candidate to a particular office. The concept of general electoral colleges is not a novel one, and is known in several democracies across the world. For instance, countries such as India and Germany have recourse to electoral colleges to elect the president. In France, the Senate is elected by an electoral college. Each of these countries has its own model of electoral college adapted to suit their local context and the specificities of their respective electoral system. Madam Speaker, the establishment of an electoral college in Mauritius will be an integral part of the reform agenda of my government, and we will have consultations with all the stakeholders.
Yes, Madam Speaker, may I?
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Well, will the Prime Minister agree that he had pledged during the campaign to appoint the President of the Republic for an electoral college, and that it be not a simple nominee of the Prime Minister? I will ask the Prime Minister whether he doesn't agree whether the outgoing President could have remained in office pending the appointment of a new President through the Electoral College, as he himself pledged.
And I don't agree with the Honourable Member. We have a new government. The President's term has ended, and gracefully we allowed him to stay in his position, and he has stepped down at the time when he was supposed to step down. So this is why we've decided we have to replace the President and the Vice President until we do the reforms that we have pledged we will do.
Will the Prime Minister not agree that under the Constitution there is already provision for the outgoing President to remain in office pending the incoming President, and that because a President's term is for 5 years, it will not be under this government that a new President will be elected through the Electoral College, as has been pledged?
I don't agree with the Honourable Member. The President, as I said, decided, he accepted that he has to step down after a new government is elected, and his term of office has come to an end. So this is how we proceeded with the appointment of the new President and the Vice President. We cannot allow things to stay out there because, you know, this would be an eternal argument if that is the case. That is why we followed the procedure and we've elected a new President, as has always been elected, but we will bring the reforms that we have pledged we will bring.
And if I may.
Well, I think the Prime Minister has replied to your question. You may, but don't be argumentative and don't come back again to the same issue.
If I may ask the Honourable Prime Minister, given that now the President is in office and the Vice President is in office, and like I said, the term will run and it will expire after this government's mandate, will he consider, once the Electoral College is set up, to ask the President, therefore, to vacate the office until he is appointed anew through that system? Otherwise, he would not, like I said, otherwise, he will not be keeping his promise to elect the President under his term, under his mandate, through the Electoral College.
I think I said it. You're coming back. He's given an answer. You may not agree with the answer, but I think I will not pursue with this question anymore. There is the question of the Speaker. Maybe, Right Honourable Prime Minister? There was also a part on the Speaker's choice. Maybe you want to reply on that?
Mr. Speaker, sir, we should allow Mr. Fouquet to stay as Speaker. This is precisely what you're saying, when we saw what the difference was. So this is not acceptable. You must treat the President properly. He stepped down, a new President has come in his place.
Yes.
The Honourable Prime Minister will realize that the Speaker has to be elected for constitutional amendment to be brought to the House, voted, for the President to be appointed under the new mechanism. My question being that this could have been the case and this promise could have been kept, but I will not insist.
That promise will be kept. We will look at the, as I said in my answer, if you at the end, I did say that there will be consultation, wide consultations with all stakeholders, because we have to look at all the aspects of it, and we will keep to what we have said.
Yes. The Honourable Second Member for Rodrigues, Mr. François.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. B5.
Allow me, Madam Speaker, to state at the very outset that my government is committed to a fully comprehensive reform of the current electoral system, which would be reflective on the will of the population and restore the democratic reputation of our country. To this end, consultations will be undertaken with all the stakeholders. The need for the setting up of any relevant committee to look into the constitutional and electoral reform will be looked into during this process.
Thank you. Yes? Yes? No? All right. Honourable second member for Flac and Bon Accueil, Mr. Bichuk.
Madame la Présidente, 1B6.
Madam Speaker, I thank the honourable member for the question. I will certainly table a copy of the report of the state of the economy after my statement in this House this very afternoon.
Yes. The Honourable third member for Grand Bay and Poudre d'Or, Mr. Etouaria. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The coastal areas in the north comprise 17 regions, which start from Le Goulet and end at Rochenoir. These regions are highly popular among tourists and local residents. I am informed by the Commissioner of Police that during the past 3 years, 1,120 cases of larcenies have been reported to the police in the northern coastal areas. That is from 2012 to 2024. For the last 3 years, 2024, 23, and 22. I'm also informed that the police has put in place several measures to closely monitor the situation, and they are as follows. Bike and mobile patrols are carried out daily by the regular police, divisional CID, emergency response services, divisional support unit, police de l'environnement, police du tourisme, and the National Coast Guard in the residential and commercial areas, as well as the coastal regions for the safety of visitors and business operators. Secondly, the Special Supporting Unit and the Special Mobile Force are deployed at night to carry out mobile patrols and roadblocks in strategic locations throughout the island, including, therefore, the Northern Division. Thirdly, the Crime Prevention Unit regularly conducts sensitization campaigns in residential and commercial areas, as well as hotels, in order to raise public awareness on crime prevention measures. Additionally, neighborhood watch schemes have also been set up in those regions in order to enlist the support of the whole community in the fight against crimes, including larcenies. And fourthly, safe city cameras are used to monitor the movements of suspicious persons and vehicles for prompt and coordinated response to attend to public requests for police assistance. Madam Speaker, following the appointment of the new Commissioner of Police, the existing measures are being reinforced to revitalize the various units of the police force island-wise for a more effective response to crime. The police force is reorganizing its workforce and will adopt a zero-tolerance policy approach against all offenders as a deterrent to reoffending. We place, Madam Speaker, a high premium on the safety and security of visitors and local residents. We must ensure that our country remains a safe destination, not only for tourists, but also for local residents.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister.